Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Unlocked Investor. I'm the host, Ian Robertson, and today I'm coming from a different location. I'm out in Orlando, Florida, here after wrapping up a few days of training through Disney's Institute. And so I'm taking a different approach here today. Usually, I'll be interviewing investors, investment professionals, business owners, business advisors about different components of the world of investing, specifically around alternative investments. But today, I'm going to give you some recap and some takeaways that I got from the Disney Institute. Really, today's episode is a lot on investing in your business and investing in your team, your culture, and getting the best results that you can in that function. And so not everybody owns a business. Not everybody is in management or on the executive team of a business or organization. There's still a lot that applies from these takeaways that can apply in your life as well. But if this feels like it's not the right content for you, don't worry. Next week, back to the interviews with other investment professionals. So subscribe, stay tuned for that content, or go back and listen to some of the other interviews that I've had with other investment professionals. There's a lot of great content there to catch up on. Back to Disney. So Disney Institute, it's sort of the external branch of Disney University. And Disney University really is just all about training and educating their workforce to get them to buy into the culture, the magic, the happiness standpoint of Disney, among other things: leadership training, employee engagement, quality service standards, many of those things. And so their Disney Institute goes through all of that. It goes through Disney's experience in business, and then it breaks it down to a level that should be applicable to just about any business, anywhere, in any industry. More so common business practices that Disney implements or uses that can be applied to other businesses. And so specifically what I want to talk about today is part of what Disney calls their chain of excellence. This chain consists of a few different things, starting with the why behind your business and ending with sustained results. And so in between the why and the results that the business hopes to achieve, or in this case, Disney hopes to achieve, there are three chains that are included there. So first is leadership excellence, which it should motivate their employees to have employee engagement, which is the second chain. And then engaged employees should ultimately lead and maintain quality service. That's the third chain. And so it's leadership, excellence, employee engagement, and quality service. That's what the 3-day training was on. Each day was a different chain of that chain of excellence, really diving deep, 8 hours of content that they really dove deep into each of those things. And so I'm going to give more of a high level overview and then focus in on my biggest takeaway, which is Disney's culture in general. I'm in Orlando, Florida right now. I'm at one of their resorts. Went to several of the different parks and was immersed in what their culture really is from the employee standpoint. I even went, behind the scenes to and was able to see some of the back office workers on and off shift and see really how their culture was implemented and how it impacts their employees and ultimately the customers that the end users that get to experience it as well. And so the culture is a really big thing. Obviously, Disney's an entertainment company, and so the culture is sort of an obvious piece of that, but it does go beyond that. It really does. And so I'm going to talk more about the culture piece of it, how Disney's culture works so well, and how it can be stripped back and applied to just about any business or organization. And then, aside from culture, or within the culture, there's this really big, important piece, which is the common purpose of an organization. It really is broken into two pieces. When I mentioned in the chain of excellence, the why behind the business, that's broken into the internal why and the external why. The internal why is the common purpose, the message, the vision, the goal of the organization that employees can get behind and support and believe in from their own stance. The other, the external why to an organization is the brand promise. And so, what are you telling customers that they can expect from your company, or what are you implying? Even sometimes you're not even telling them, that you're implying by uh, the images or the style of your website or your advertisements or your employees, just how they're dressed, how they look, how they talk, the different pieces there. That really all feeds into your brand promise. What customers feel that they can expect from you as a business. That's, whether it's said or spoken or unspoken, that is your brand promise. And so if it's unspoken, now's the time to speak it. Now's the time to figure out what is that why, so that I can clearly define it and clearly feed that into the different avenues of supplying the brand promise. Again, the way you talk, the way that you have things styled online, or the way that your employees are dressed, or the many different facets of your business. What's the tone of your business, the internal tone, now to switch to the internal component, because without that you can't really feed the brand promise properly. The external why doesn't exist without a deeply held belief in the common purpose amongst the internal team, so the employees and leadership. So, common purpose within the organization, getting people to buy in. Let's talk about specifically Disney right now for a minute here. Disney, it's clear. It is clear as can be that Disney has established a culture in which people seek employment at Disney actively. It's pretty overwhelming, actually, how many people seek employment at Disney, even if the pay or the business side of it isn't necessarily the same or exceeding different opportunities of somebody's resume, right? You can get a job as an operations manager at a big Fortune 500 company that is maybe in a consulting firm or in technology or something to that effect. You could work at Disney. You're probably going to make more at one of those other firms than you are at Disney, but it's not all about the pay. Obviously, pay and benefits is an important piece of any business, but if you have a powerful why, an obvious why, and it's well defined and it's clear as can be, that is a huge contributing factor towards success and sustained results, which ultimately the common purpose and the brand promise, the why of the business, leads to the sustained results. So how do you get that? How do you get what Disney has, what feels like magic, and what they say their slogan is, we create happiness everywhere? And how can your business create happiness, or maybe it doesn't need to create happiness. Maybe there's a different goal in mind that your employees can get behind and believe in. For example, um, your business may be focused on a specific cause, a specific initiative. Maybe that's to reduce waste. Maybe that is to innovate to new technologies. Maybe that is simply to have care and compassion for people that wouldn't normally expect care and compassion from your organization or from your industry. Maybe you're trying to change the norm in an industry. Uh, all of those are great purposes, great causes, great goals and initiatives. And so once you have that common purpose, right? You want to create happiness. You want to change the way people perceive an industry. You want to disrupt something. As long as you can get a team behind you that believes in that same cause, believes in that same common purpose, you're on your way. And so don't gloss over this. Don't just quickly move on with your day. Think about this for a second. Think about this for a little bit of time. Jot down some ideas, some general ideas. They don't all have to be good ideas, right? The whole point of brainstorming is to write down as much as you can get out of your brain at once, and then look at it, refine it, see maybe two of these things that I wrote down go really, really well together to create a supercharged mission or a supercharged purpose that our business can really seek after. And so to definitely take that time to think about what could the common purpose for my organization be. Also, just a little tidbit, organization in the eyes of Disney is not necessarily always just in the overarching conglomerate or company that you may own or you may work for. An organization can also be considered your sphere of influence. And so think about it from that perspective too. So your sphere of influence may be a few employees, maybe a few of your peers, a couple managers over you even. So think about your sphere of influence. Who is it that you communicate with frequently, who you may have some relationship equity with? Think about some of those interactions that you have. That can be considered your organization. You can also obviously think about this from a larger company perspective, but food for thought there. Sphere of influence can equate to organization while we're talking about this. So you're jotting down some ideas about common purpose, about what is the why behind your business. What is it, that you believe in? You better be all in on the common purpose, or you're going to be called out for, you know, being phony, being inauthentic in your branding and in your messaging and in your business. Nobody wants that. That is not a good place to be. So don't just think about some cause that is really hot right now. Like, think about what is a purpose and a why that I believe in, that I can intertwine into my business and into the future of my business as well. It doesn't have to be there right now. It doesn't have to be something that your business is currently utilizing or thinking about. It can be something that you want to bring into your business long term, and then you can go from there. So start with something. Start with your why. What are some things that you hold near and dear to you, that you believe in strongly, that you would like to infuse into your organization? Once you have that, consider it from both perspectives, right? Internally, how can you get other employees to buy in, or can you get other people to buy into your why that you've just defined? Or is it something that you can't really get other people to buy into, or it's going to be too difficult? That's another reason to play around with this, to not just put something on paper, accept it, and then here we go. This is my mission statement. This is what we're doing. It has to be something that really relates to other people. And so define the why for yourself. Make sure that it's something that you can get other people to buy into and get on board with, both internally for your employees and also externally for your customers. Make sure that the customers, whatever they perceive your business as, that it's something that they're excited about. They're wanting to come into that journey. Just as a side note, never discussed in the Disney Institute program that I was a part of, but there's a lot of great correlations between what I'm talking to you about right now and Donald Miller's book, Building a Story Brand. So if you haven't read that, if you haven't heard about Donald Miller, I would definitely look into that. It's something with a lot of great content, and it's all about bringing along your customer on a journey, in a story where they're the hero and you're simply the guide that's guiding them along through that story. He has a background in entertainment production, script writing, things like that. And so he infuses that, and he explains how you think about different movies, that it's clear that the main character is the hero, and the one that's getting them there is just the guide. They're not the hero that's really doing it for them. You even think about superhero movies. They're the hero. There's always somebody behind the scenes, or somebody in their life that's helping them get through a struggle, right? A superhero movie is not that exciting unless that superhero is struggling with something and they have to overcome one of their burdens, with Superman and kryptonite, right? He has something that he has to overcome. That's part of the story. So that's just a sidetrack. Look into Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. I think it's definitely worthwhile. But back to the story that you're bringing people into, this more so externally, you're bringing your customers into an atmosphere and into a story, something that they can also support. A lot of times, it's just a simple business transaction without any depth beyond, I have something that you want and you have money to pay for it. Those transactions work. There's a lot of businesses where that does them very, very well. But the more depth you can establish within that relationship, the more sustained results that you're actually going to get from it. You're not going to have as many ups and downs, maybe in different economic times within our system and the cycles that go along with that. If you have depth to your relationships, in good times and in bad times, oftentimes those loyal customers, which is who you're trying to get, those loyal customers and the raving fans, the brand ambassadors, those people are going to stick around in the good times and the hard times and sustain your business through even the worst of times. And so you want to create your why. You want to bring your employees along for it, get them to buy into that why, make sure it's genuine, and then share that in an effective story way to external customers, prospective customers, and anybody else in the ecosystem to make sure that they're on board for it as well. So that's my little spiel on Disney's focus on common purpose, brand promise, and sustained results, part of their chain of excellence. All of that obviously is a huge component of a company's culture. And so thinking about Disney's culture, again, you think about magic, you think about the impossible, you think about happiness and triumph. And if you specifically think about the parks, Disney World and Disneyland, you think about smile, you think about kids having a good time, you think about adults having a good time, you think about just the pure, first off, the purity of it, right? Like this is pure joy, pure happiness that people are experiencing. And then beyond that, it's the atmosphere, right? It's the feeling that you have within you when you're in the experience that they've created for you. And so that's all part of Disney's culture, but how does that affect your culture? How does that impact your business in a way that helps it grow, helps it be more effective at what it tries to do? So definitely things to be thinking about here. Hopefully this was helpful for you. I'm going to wrap it up there. Again, this is not the normal format for the episodes from Unlocked Investor. Go back and listen to the many different interviews that I've had with investment professionals. New episodes do come out every Monday, so be on the lookout for those. This was just a recap on what I've learned and sort of the key pieces that I picked up from Disney Institute. And so moving forward, again, it'll be more interviews. There's plenty of great interviews coming up here shortly, so be on the lookout for that. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, do all of that. Let me know, give me some feedback. I would love any and all feedback that I can get from you, and I'd love to be able to improve and increase the quality of what I'm sharing with you. So if any of this was helpful for you, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. If not, let me know what would be more helpful for you, and I look forward to catching you on the next episode.